You know by now your life is like a train, and in this episode, we're going to look at your emotional car and talk about how you can increase your emotional intelligence. As you know, when the train goes down the track and all the cars are linked together, they're all on the same track, they're all doing their own job, and they're doing the job they're supposed to do, then the train successfully moves forward and achieves its destination. And that's what we want in our life. We want these six cars that are part of the train of your life to be all healthy, to all move down the track together and in lockstep so that you can achieve your goals and dreams for 2021. Hi, my name is Marcia Denton, and I'm the owner of Mima Wisdom Coaching. And these six cars in my life are also the six cars in your life. And what we've been talking about throughout the month of January is how to help them be healthy and how we know if they're healthy or not. And so I've got some information for you in just a minute on that. What happened is when we get busy and we're all going different directions, a lot of times we don't stop and check on the health of each of our six cars. And when one of the cars is weak or not healthy, not in a good place, then the other cars are called on to do more. And yet that unhealthy car is always pulling our train backwards. You've seen people who at work or in volunteer groups that you're involved in who are really great people and they're fun and they're wonderful, but they have this thing they do or that they don't do. And people expect all sorts of things from them in other aspects of their life to take care of that one. And that just is almost impossible to know or to do. And so today we want to talk about your emotional car. We talked in our last emotional car post about this work, Daniel Goleman's work on emotional intelligence. And there are five levels of this ladder going from the top to the bottom here. Start with self-awareness, then move to self-regulation, then motivation, empathy, and finally social skills. And these are the steps of growing your emotional intelligence. These are also the steps that you move through as you increase your EQ. Now, while your IQ, your intelligent quotient, you don't change that. I mean, you can get more education, but your IQ is fixed. But your EQ, you can change whenever you're ready. You just have to get on a plan, work your plan. And you can't really work your plan unless you've done some assessment and you know what the health of your emotional car is on your train. And so today I want to talk about three things really that we know that will help you improve your emotional intelligence. And one of those is listening. What's that phrase? I have two ears and one mouth for a reason. I don't always get that right, but certainly the quality of your listening and being willing to listen instead of talk is a huge impact, a huge practice that will help you to improve your emotional intelligence quotient. It allows you to start learning about others and listening and being more empathetic and developing those social skills so that you can begin to progress up that ladder. It's also interesting because when you're really listening to people, sometimes they will say something that makes you question yourself. And it could be negative or positive or completely neither one, completely bland. But do I do that? I wonder if I do that. I've never thought about myself that way. And so there's a reflection practice that you can take from that. But I don't want you to think that listening is just auditory. Listening is also visual. And what I mean by that is you have to listen to body language because people's body language talks as much, sometimes more, and sometimes more loudly than their auditory language. And so when you're listening, you want to pay attention and listen to what they say, but you really want to pay attention and listen to what they do and pay attention to that. Empathize. Try to learn from people. Picking up on their emotions, yeah, that's great, but empathizing with somebody is really, really critical. How would you feel if you were in that situation? How can you help them as they're in this space? Again, this is not who they are, this is where they are. Maybe they're experiencing a grief or a loss. Maybe they've recently lost their job. Um, I have a colleague, and I reached out to her on LinkedIn actually because I found that she was no longer at the company that I work for full time, and we were emailing back and forth or messaging back and forth, and she said, "Oh, my husband and I decided we were going to take off and travel for a year," and I'm like, "Okay, as long as this was your choice, then you rock on, you go, girl." But I didn't know that. And so I was trying to be very empathetic and trying to be willing to listen. And she immediately just cleared that up, and it was just great. And then reflecting. I mentioned this a minute ago, reflecting on what you're hearing, reflecting on what you're seeing, um, but also reflecting on your behavior and your thought processes. And why did I do that? I know I don't want to do that. But what was the clicker that went off in my head that caused me to do that and not what I really wanted to do, that I've been planning to do? That can really help you out a lot to figure out what your triggers are and help you improve your own emotional intelligence. Again, links at the bottom that you can use. We've created a free resource for you that you can use to assess the health of each of the 6 cars on your train. Because if each of the cars is not healthy, then that's going to negatively impact the other cars, and it's going to negatively impact your ability to get wherever it is that you're trying to go. So I want to strongly encourage you, go download this resource. It's a wonderful resource. Lots of people have found it very helpful, great research behind it. Go download it for free. Use it. If you have questions, email me. We're here to help. And we'll be doing these posts throughout January. So if you've missed some of the posts that we've done before, you can certainly find them on Mima Wisdom Coaching on either Facebook or LinkedIn. And they're also on our YouTube channel. Hope to hear from you soon. Good luck.